Today I am going to explain the lesson The Rattrap by Selma Lagerlof, 1858 to 1940. She was a Swedish author and was the first woman writer to win a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1909. The story The Rat Trap revolves around a rat trap peddler. Once upon a time, there was a rat trap peddler. He made wire rat traps and went about selling them. He was a homeless vagabond, wanderer. He begged the material for making the traps. He did not mind begging or stealing petty things for survival. He was in rags, that is, torn, worn out clothes, as he was very poor. He looked thin, lean, and hungry. One day an idea struck him. He imagined that the world too was a rat trap. All good things of life served as bait, something to lure, tempt, to trap humans. He knew people who had already been trapped, and some others who were trying to reach the bait and would soon get trapped. This idea amused him. One dark evening in December, he was walking along the road. He saw a lonely cottage by the roadside. He knocked at the door to ask for shelter for the night. An old man opened the door and welcomed him. In fact, the old man was lonely and was glad to have his company. The old man gave him supper and tobacco. Then they played a game of cards. Before going to bed, the old man told him that he had a cow. She gave him enough milk, which he sold to a creamery, a bakery where cream is made. He said he got 30 kroner as payment for the previous month. The old man felt that the peddler did not believe what he had told him. So he took down a pouch that was hanging on a nail in the window frame. He showed the peddler 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. Then he put the money back into the pouch and hung it on the nail. In the morning, the old man locked his cottage. Then each went his way. But half an hour later, the rat trap peddler returned. He smashed a pane and stole the money. Now, the rat trap peddler did not think it safe to walk along the highway. He turned off the road and went into the woods. After some time, he lost his way in the twisting paths in the woods. He walked and walked, but would come back to that very part of it. He was exhausted. He felt he was trapped. His bait had been the 30 kroners. He felt his end was near. He lay down on the ground. But soon he heard a regular thumping sound. He could guess that it was coming from the ironworks. He stood up and walked in the direction of the sound. Soon he reached the Ramsjo ironworks. He entered the forge. The master smith and his helper had put in pig iron in the furnace to be ready to put on the anvil. The peddler stood in front of the furnace to warm himself. The master smith did not object to his coming in because it was not uncommon for a homeless vagabond to come in for shelter and warmth. The peddler stood near the furnace to dry his wet clothes. The Ramsjo Ironworks was owned by a prominent ironmaster. He visited the forge for inspection randomly. That night he came in. He looked at the vagabond carefully. He believed he was Captain von Stahle, an old regimental acquaintance. He was sorry to see his old friend in a miserably ragged condition. He requested him to accompany him to his house and celebrate Christmas with them. But the vagabond did not agree. He had stolen 30 kroner and feared he might be in trouble there. The ironmaster went away. He sent his daughter to persuade his old friend to come to their house. She felt that the stranger was afraid. Perhaps he had stolen something. She assured him that he would be safe. She also told him that he would be free to leave after the Christmas Eve. The stranger felt assured and went in a carriage to the ironmaster's house. But he regretted to have stolen the old man's money in the cottage. He felt he was in a rat trap. Next morning, the stranger appeared for breakfast. He was bathed and clean. He was wearing a fine suit of clothes that belonged to the ironmaster. But the ironmaster was not happy. He felt in the dim light he had been mistaken. The man was not Captain von Stolle. He told the stranger that he had deceived him, but the stranger replied that he had never pretended to be what he was not. He was willing to put on his rags and go away. The ironmaster told him to go away. Just as he was about to leave, ironmaster's daughter Edla stopped him. She pleaded with her father to let him stay for Christmas. She said it was unfair to turn a man out whom they had invited. The ironmaster did not say anything. The stranger slept most of the time. He was awakened for lunch and Christmas supper. He was given Christmas present. Edla assured him that he did not need to return the suit he was wearing, for it was to be his Christmas present from her father. She also assured him that if he desired to spend the next Christmas Eve with them, he would be welcome. In the morning, the ironmaster and Edla went to church for Christmas service. There, they learnt that a Rattrap peddler had robbed an old crofter. The ironmaster was sure that while they were at church, their guest must have robbed them of their silver spoons. When they reached home, the ironmaster inquired about the stranger. The servant told them that he had already gone but had taken nothing with him. On the contrary, he had left a Christmas present for Edla. Edla undid the package. There was a rat trap. Inside the trap, there were 3 10-kroner notes and a letter. The stranger had written to request Edla to return the money to the old man. He said that money had served as a bait. But the treatment as a captain, which was extended by Edla, had helped him to redeem himself. He had thanked Edla for her kindness, and the letter was signed Captain von Stolle.